Greetings, my good bitches. The name's Francis, Coke Francis. I'm an editor, Twitch streamer, drag artist, and I'm here to tell you that you're ovulating. So, first off, I just want to thank you all so much for helping me reach 100,000 subscribers. You are the ones who did that, and honestly, blows my mind that over 100,000 people saw my videos and then clicked a button to say, yes, bitch, give me more. I somehow managed to entertain you or make you laugh, which is really all I've ever wanted to do my entire life. And I am beyond grateful that I get to do my favorite thing for a living. And I can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate you guys allowing me to be able to do that. And I can't believe I'm saying this, a very, very, very big thank you to all the conservative artists out there. The ones who excel the most at reducing art to glorifying the state and its leaders. Neither of us gave up on our dreams. And as long as you keep making what you think is art, I'll never have a shortage of content when I make fun of you for it. So to all of the conservative artists, writers, musicians, comedians, fashion designers, never stop, never stopping. We have created a beautiful ecosystem here. So let's keep that going when we take a look at the prolific career of American artist and Republican Jon McNaughton. I'm not kidding, that is literally what the first line of his Wikipedia page says. So Mr. McNaughton is from Provo, Utah, and he studied art on a scholarship at the one and only Brigham Young University. After graduating, he saved up money by working jobs in finance, and by the time he was in his early 30s, he was finally able to pursue art full-time. Girl, same! I love that for us. McNaughton is a realism painter who kicked off his career by doing a lot of landscapes and religious imagery. He's basically the Mormon Thomas Kincaid. In 2016, McNaughton had originally supported Ted Cruz for president and allegedly didn't really like Trump very much, but grew to appreciate him in the coming years, as did a lot of other Republicans. He was still cautious with his words, though, describing himself as a Trump observer rather than a supporter.
Sure, Jan.
Despite this statement, McNaughton has carved out a new niche for himself by delving into the world of Christian nationalism and MAGA realism, or as we gays call it, realness. For almost a decade now, his work has spread to countless corners of the internet, and he even caught the attention of the big man himself. McNaughton claims that Trump actually tried to buy one of his paintings, but sadly it had already been snatched up by a collector in Texas. He's also said that Sean Hannity has bought between 6 and 10 of his paintings. And as for me, David Arquette started following me on Instagram. We all have our victories. And credit where credit is due, his work is pretty alright. It does take a lot of talent to make something like this, you know? I mean, I'm artistically challenged and can't draw for shit, so I'm very easily impressed. But today's video is not going to be about the quality or style of his art because that is subjective. What isn't subjective is that his body of work after the Great MAGA Shift is some of the cringiest visual media that my pretty eyes have ever seen in my 30 years on this hell planet, and for some reason I decided to rank all of it, and there's enough here to fill an entire museum. Imagine buying an annual pass to the one and only Jon McNaughton Art Museum, only to find out that 300 days out of the year are blackout dates. This is what watching your favorite streaming service is like without the help of today's sponsor, Private Internet Access VPN. We don't exactly have a lot of privacy anymore. When you connect to the internet, your device transmits a ton of information out into the open. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and safeguards your internet connection through an encrypted tunnel. PIA is the world's most transparent VPN provider with over 30 million downloads worldwide. By hiding your IP address and encrypting your internet connection, you will be protected from the prying eyes of hackers, internet service providers, government censors, and anyone else looking looking to exploit your private information. But that's not all. Many websites and services limit access based on your physical location, especially streaming services like Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, and Netflix. Their content libraries are based on location, meaning some shows and movies are unavailable unless you're in the right location. Just last month, some of my favorite titles officially became unavailable on Netflix here in the US. But that won't stop me, because PIA allows me to access region-restricted content from all over the world to 91 different countries and all 50 US states, which means I can watch my favorite horror movies like Scream, Hereditary, and The Cat in the Hat anytime I want. PIA is available for Windows, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and many more. And you can use one PIA subscription to cover an unlimited amount of devices at the same time. So if you use my special link, piavpn.com/queencokefrancis, you'll get an 83% discount on private internet access, which comes out to just $2.03 a month. And they'll also give you an extra 4 months completely free. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, and 24/7 customer support is available. So thank you to Private Internet Access VPN for sponsoring today's video, and now back to our regularly scheduled programming. So let's face it would be impossible for me to rank every single Jon McNaughton painting out there because his body of work is enormous. I'm also not interested in ranking the majority of his religious pieces because I'm not here to roast anyone's religion. I'm not Bill Maher, okay? You should be thanking me. There are also a lot of other religious and historical Americana-themed pieces that I had considered including. It's giving the decor in Homelander's apartment, but honestly, my biggest reaction to them was just me rolling my eyes and moving on, and I'm a busy bitch, and this is gonna be a pretty long video. So the collection that I have curated for you all will be divided into 4 categories, all from his website's Americana tab. First up is I'm gay and even I think this is too gay. These are the pieces that make you wonder if Jon McNaughton loves Trump or is like actually in love with Trump. Be sure to check out my cringy MAGA products video for more hot, steamy content like that. The next category is cringe levels normal. Nothing we see today will not be cringe, but some of it is a bit more palatable, in my opinion, especially compared to the next category, which is scoliosis-inducing cringe. This one's pretty self-explanatory. These are the pieces that will mold and shape your back to perfectly fit any Delta economy seat. And finally, we have the conservative mind needs to be studied. These are the ones that genuinely make me question the sanity of the American right. And just to take some responsibility on my end, please don't go after this guy directly. I really don't want to start shit. So without further ado, let's get loud. First up, one of the first Trump-themed paintings to make the rounds on the internet. This one is called Expose the Truth. And it's Trump getting up close and personal with Robert Mueller, who committed the horrible crime of investigating a man with 34 felony charges. So each of these does have a description/artist explanation, and some of those will be factoring into my ranking criteria. So let's see what this one says. Robert Mueller leads a special council of at least 17 partisan Democrat attorneys who have yet to find a single piece of evidence against the president. Oh boy, that aged well. I mean, it ended up not mattering in the end though, so I guess the joke's on us. Anyway, I'll say this one is cringe levels normal, and you're probably thinking, but Francis, this is one of the cringiest things I've ever seen in my entire life. How could it possibly— I'm gonna stop you right there, sweetie. Don't talk Don't think. We'll get there soon. This next one is called The Knockout. As you may have seen in my cringy MAGA products video, these people are obsessed with drawing or photoshopping or AIing Trump doing things he could never actually do in real life. So here he is with some big, strong dad arms right after knocking out Joe Biden, so really getting into some untapped ground here. Inspired by the iconic photograph of Muhammad Ali and Sonny Liston, the most amusing aspect of the painting is the reaction of the liberal naysayers behind the ropes. No, the most amusing aspect of it is that you know he doesn't look like this absolute Adonis sex god, but you so badly want him to that you drew it. I'm gay, and even I think this is way too gay. You might have seen this next one. It's another famous McNaughton piece. This is Crossing the Swamp, and it's inspired by George Washington crossing the Delaware River, I guess. But Francis, who are all these people? In case you guys were wondering whether or not our boy Jon is based, the answer is yes, he is. And more often than not, he puts the name of every featured person in the descriptions. So from left to right, we've got Nikki Haley, James Mattis, Ben Carson, Ben Carson, Trump, Jeff Sessions, Mike Pence, Melania, Mike Pompeo, Sarah Sanders, Ivanka Trump, John Bolton, Kellyanne Conway, and John Kelly. Jesus, I'm winded. As you'll see going forward, it's always the additions of these other toolboxes that add a whole other layer of ick. And boy howdy, are there a lot of these additions. And I think this is our first scoliosis-inducing cringe entry of the day. Okay, so this next one is one of my personal favorites and partially what inspired me to make this video in the first place. This piece is called Solitary Confinement, and it depicts this poor soul sitting in a self-inflicted jail cell as he carves the days till the 2024 election into the wall. Oppression is when they let you keep your MAGA hat in jail, apparently. The concept for this painting was given to me by my friend Dinesh D'Souza, not Dinesh D'Souza. Over 600 American citizens have been detained since January 6th, 2021 for the storming of the US Capitol. And why do you think that might be, Jon? Many have been placed in solitary confinement. No, they haven't. My God, the conservative mind needs to be studied extensively. This is low-key a masterpiece, though. This next one is called Angelic Intervention, and it kind of looks like an eagle made out of, like, flags, I guess. Just before Trump took the stage in Butler, Pennsylvania, something remarkable happened. The American flag suspended about the stage and was tangled in the wind, and, to those in the crowd, appeared to look like an American eagle soaring above them. I was right. Shortly after President Trump began to speak, shots rang out, and by the divine hand of God, he moved at the precise moment that spared his life from the assassin. Is that what they told you? It's things like this that always remind me of that episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm when Larry accidentally gets pee droplets on this portrait of Mary, and then everyone who sees it freaks out because they actually think that she's crying. I have scoliosis now. Actually, I already do, so nobody suffers like I do. Next up, we have what's called All-American Trump, and he's once again painted doing something he can't do, which is football. He's a theater kid from New York City, for Christ's sake. I did a whole investigation into that. So here we can see him mowing down all your favorite soy boy spendocrats, which Jon was nice enough to provide another guide for. Referee and 3 blue players in the back. Not telling. Not telling? What are you, 5? I'm gay, and this is honestly way too gay for me. So this next one is called Trick or Treat, and it's Democrats as ghouls on Halloween. A very spooky holiday for spooky ghouls. The scariest Halloween painting of all time. Have you seen?
Is it an E? Or is it a 3?
Did it make you laugh? Or did it make you scream? Actually, it made me cringe into the next dimension because it's one painting of many that was accompanied by a poem. Jesus Christ, so many of these had a poem attached to them, and none of them are good. Shall we hail the Queen of Darkness, the witchiest of the West? She stirs with her power to coalesce and place the country under house arrest. Yeah, that's a Biggie level flow right there. There is a ghost that walks amongst them. He hangs like an elf on a shelf. But if you think he's dead, just remember, he did not kill himself. Absolutely bountiful scoliosis here. So this one's sort of a two-parter. We have this piece called Stand Your Ground, and then we have the female version, which is called Take a Stand. And they're in the same outfit, and they're holding the same gun, and they're carrying the same flag. Equality. Work. The federal government continues to encroach upon individual liberties as the First and Second Amendments of the Constitution are under attack. Hey, so while we're on the subject, 2A supporters, you guys have been awfully quiet since we've begun our descent into fascism. Like, this is your moment, girl. You've been buying guns for this exact scenario, or at least that's what you told us. So, you know what? Never mind. Forget I said anything. It's not like you actually cared in the first place. Either way, I still think this is pretty mid-tier cringe. Next up is a recreation of an absolute classic called Democrats Playing Poker. Each time I release a new painting, someone from the left would comment, "That's no better than that painting. Dogs playing poker." Is that supposed to be an insult? What a great idea. This encouraged me to paint the truth regarding what the left is doing in a unique and humorous way by showing them playing cards in a room full of dogs. I am absolutely obsessed with how Republicans consistently make Democrats look way cooler and more chill than they actually are. They aren't. Who are the dogs? What is the meaning of the symbols in the lamp? Got him. How are they cheating, lying, and stealing? What are the cards? Who's winning? What is that expression on Trump's face? Is there anything else hidden in the painting? Someday, these facts will be revealed, and don't expect to hear it from the left. What an incredible way to out yourself as having no f***ing idea what you're talking about, since none of those questions can be answered by looking at the painting, aside from the super on-the-nose lamp details. God, cringing so hard, I am permanently trapped under that table. This next one is called Fight, 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 and it's a heroic rendition of that picture of Trump triumphantly standing up after the attempted assassination that was definitely real. There's also some blood coming out of his wherever, as a great man once said.
Blood coming out of her wherever.
Sometimes I think I'm really gay, and then I remember that things like this exist. So this next one is called Making America Safe, and it's Trump, and he's standing next to a white picket fence, and he's holding a key to the fence. If you have a special place worth protecting, you always require permission to enter. You sensitive snowflakes in your safe spaces. Weeds crawl the fence and seek to overrun the garden of our beautiful land. This metaphor is the perfect word for those who steal from the American people and choke out the prosperity and the safety of the garden of our homeland. Oh, it's an immigration thing. Got it. It's a wall reference, but it's a white picket fence so that it appeals to white boomers. Cool, whatever. I'd still say that this is a pretty normal amount of cringe. This next piece is called Teach a Man to Fish, and I almost fell out of my goddamn chair the first time I saw this because I genuinely thought that this was Bo Burnham. And is that Alec Baldwin as Trump? I imagined President Trump sitting next to a young college student. His pack is beside him, and his socialism and justice warriors books laid aside. I'll get copyrighted if I actually play the song, but as a great man once said, the global network of capital essentially functions to separate the worker from the means of production. Now that's a goddamn rhyme. Normally I'd say that this is mid-tier cringe, but the description coupled with the fact that I actually thought this was Bo Burnham, kicks it up a notch. I know it's not actually him. So once again, based Jon McNaughton actually bothered to number and name every single person in this painting, which is titled Speak the Truth. We've of course got our founding fathers here: Trump, Tucker Carlson, Elon, I shouldn't be surprised, Hannity, Ingram, Alex Jones, Tim Pool. You mean Tim, I made a skate park for myself myself and nobody else pool? Do I dare continue? Jack Pacific? Charlie Kirk? Dinesh D'Souza again? Matt Walsh? The kids on TikTok weren't kidding. Coachella really sucked this year. Brushstrokes have become my weapon of choice in the battle for our sacred freedom of speech. And that's why you included the guy who bans Twitter accounts when they make fun of him for cheating at Path of Exile 2. I just want to reiterate that this painting is called Speak the Truth. These men are depicted in a painting titled Speak the Truth. The conservative mind really needs to be studied. This one is called Freedom Rising. Listen, I know subtlety isn't exactly you guys' strong suit, but it's a little on the nose, don't you think? This important US founding document is in the shape of the United States of America, with portions of radical leftist states burned out. Oh please, California is used to being on fire all the time. So are Texas and Arizona also some of those radical leftist states? And are these radical leftist states in the room with us right now? The more I think about it, the cringier this gets, but somehow it's still mid-tier compared to everything else. This next piece is called The Impeachment Mob. We never could have seen this one coming. And it comes with another poem. You found a whistleblower, you shifty little shift, to string him up together and throw him in a pit. It doesn't even rhyme correctly, but I know for a fact that after he came up with shifty little shift, he was like, I've won. Now lighten up your torches and grab your bully sticks. We'll march against Republicans like the Bolsheviks. Wait, so whose point of view is this written from again? Because at first it was from your POV, but now you're doing the whole like Jello Biafra right from the villain perspective thing. So if you see another disgraceful witch hunt fraud, remember the time of victory over the Trump impeachment mob. The painting is bad enough, but the poem is really scoliosis inducing. It's the inconsistency, okay? It bothers me. So this next piece is called Not Forgotten, and it features a character we'll be seeing a few times today. His name is the Forgotten Man, and he's an imaginary mediocre white dude who feels like he's been abandoned during this epidemic of the woke mind virus. I felt compelled to paint Trump comforting this man, who symbolizes every man and woman of every color and creed who has been overlooked in recent years, but no longer.
Nobody asked the whites how they felt. Nobody cares what the whites have to say.
As it is with pretty much all of the Forgotten Man paintings, these are pretty normal cringe levels here, I'd say. This one is called Hold the Blue Line, Good Christ. The description doesn't say outright that this is Derek Chauvin, but this is definitely Derek Chauvin, right? America is under attack, not from a foreign country. It isn't? Isn't that, like, one of you guys' main talking points? But a deadly ideology that seeks to bring chaos to our streets and destruction to our communities. The police have been dehumanized in the media and popular culture. Yeah, that's what happens when you make confused oinking sounds after you're rightfully convicted of murdering somebody.
As sentence for count one, the court commits you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 270 months. That's 270. That is a 10-year addition to the presumptive sentence of 150 months.
Here's a fun one. This is It's a Mad, 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 Mad America. And it's once again filled with Democrats who look way cooler and more chill than they actually are. They're not chill or cool. Stop depicting them like that. We've got Newsom with a burning California flag, even though that is what you wanted. We've got the QAnon shaman hanging out with all of your buddies. We've got the big, scary, blue-haired trans liberals who don't actually exist, so you have to draw them so that you can make them seem real. Over here is a homeless vet, even though you voted for the people who are currently gutting all programs to benefit veterans. Oh, we've got George Floyd, but he's kneeling this time. And he's next to all the big, scary foreign barbarians, right? And of course, Trump is pictured here in a sexy little shibari moment. Over 100 figures depict the modern story story of America's mayhem. Do you agree? Agree with what? Each figure is explained here. Click here to download PDF file. Not doing that. The conservative mind needs to be studied extensively. This one is called the Magnificent Seven because conservatives love to conveniently forget that Trump literally dodged the draft and never misses an opportunity to shit on veterans. How did I choose this motley crew? Each was loved and hated for different reasons, but all stood against the establishment and to fight for American ideals. I don't know about you guys, but when I think anti-establishment, I think of Ronald Reagan. Still, pretty meh. Tier cringe. Our forgotten man is having a little moment here in this piece called The Empowered Man, and he's holding up the Constitution, which Trump and his cabinet are trying very, very hard to repeal all of. And then Obama's over here like, no, please, stop, don't do that. The way Trump tries to tell Putin to stop whatever the hell he's up to right now. Do we have freedom when government regulates every aspect of our lives? No, we don't. And you voted for that, buckaroo? Do we have freedom when our currency is controlled by a corporation that has no accountability to the American people? No, we don't. And you voted for that too, buckaroo. This next one is called Justice for All. And put a gun to my head and I still could not tell you what in the cinnamon toast I am looking at here. So maybe John can explain. In this painting, James Madison holds a rolled copy of the Bill of Rights and a black slave ascends the steps as the chains of slavery fall to the ground. I'm gonna stop you right there, buddy boy. I've seen enough. I'm satisfied. Please donate your brain to science someday. Up next, we have a piece called You Are Fake News. And it's Trump talking to the media. And they're all dressed as clowns. Because the media is such a clown show. Am I right, folks? And there's another poem. Come look at this commotion and see what I see. The White House press corps treated marginally. They cramp and they jockey for a place at the chain in the hope of asking President Trump a little something. That doesn't rhyme. Booted to the south lawn to stand in the sun, like clowns in a circus without a mic for each one. Now they cramp and they jockey for a place at the chain in the hope of asking President Trump a little something. Dude, you just said that. And then he says it again in the closing paragraph. Jesus Christ, these people really don't have an original bone in their bodies, do they? Absolutely scoliosis inducing. This next one is called Mending the Nation. And so far, it's the strongest argument I've seen for why we need to bring back bullying. Today, our nation is in disarray. Our constitution has been trampled. Our financial solvency is in question. Our military is compromised. Yes, all those things are true. And you voted for it, you silly sailor. Our courts do not uphold the Constitution, and the American people are afraid for the future of their children. And why do you think that is, you silly sailor? I don't know, this one is pretty much just Norman Rockwell if he got the chubs while looking at an American flag. I mean, he probably did. Very cringy, but could be worse. This next one, this one is called Respect the Flag. I painted President Trump picking up a shredded and trampled flag off the football field. He holds a wet cloth in his right hand as he attempts to clean it. Is this like that publicity stunt that Dianne Feinstein did back in the 70s where she tried cleaning up the Tenderloin with a broom? When the NFL players decided to kneel as the national anthem was given, I felt sick. Calm down, drama queen. This one is way too gay for my gay ass. Here's another fun one. This one is called National Emergency. And it's Trump wearing a humble ice jacket while all the scary Democrats who haunt this guy's dreams hold up flags that aren't the American flag. Every year, hundreds of thousands of foreign nationals march to our southern border and cross into our country. I thought you just said that America wasn't under attack by a foreign country? Or are you guys just literally scared of everything and you lose track? Who are they? What right do they have to come here? I don't know, dude. Why don't you take it up with the Statue of Liberty? He sees a lost doll left behind by a little girl forced to make the dangerous journey. A dangerous journey from where? Her home in the United States to a concentration camp in El Salvador? Not gonna lie, with everything going on, this one super extra pisses me off. and the conservative mind needs to be studied extensively. This next one is called The Secret Service, and it looks like Mr. McNaughton is evoking some Mormon imagery with these figures who definitely look like their sole job is to tell farmers to read rules out of a hat. Armed with the swords of liberty, truth, and justice, they keep their vigil, shielding him from the darkness that seeks to consume the land he swore to defend. Yeah, I'm sure he'll keep them in mind the next time he pieces out to one of his golf courses. These people really think he cares about them. Absolutely incredible stuff here, folks. So this next one isn't that cringy on the surface. It's just a pretty mid portrait of Donald Trump. Fine, whatever. But it's the description that adds just another layer of what was it? I don't know the word. I sat down one afternoon with the goal to paint a nice portrait of President Trump. He's got the look he gets when the fake news is trying to lie again. Go get them, Trump. I know the look he's talking about. It's the look when something is so gay that my gay ass can't look at it. So I wasn't really planning on roasting his religious paintings, but I'm making an exception for this one because it is profoundly stupid. Jon McNaughton would like to set the record straight. No one can dispute how our founding fathers and patriots felt about God. The record is clear. One nation under God is Jon McNaughton's witness and reminder. Right. One nation under God is Jon McNaughton's reminder, not the founding fathers. See, conservatives are not only obsessed with the ideals that a bunch of slave owners upheld almost 300 years ago, but they're also convinced that the founders had as much of a hard-on for God as they do. They legitimately do not wish to learn or know who it was that originally called for the separation of church and state, which were, you guessed it, the founding fathers. One nation under God was added to the Pledge of Allegiance in 1954 after a bill was passed to make it so. This next one is called Keep On Trumpin'. Get it? And it's accompanied by a cringier version of Jeff Foxworthy's You Might Be a Redneck bit. You might be a Trump supporter if you think attaching US flags to a jacked up four-wheeler is patriotic. This is beyond parody at this point. You might be a Trump supporter if you shake your head every time Biden steps in it. Steps in what? You might be a Trump supporter if you stock up on extra ammo every time a new anti-gun bill is talked about. Not passed, mind you, just talked about. They're never passed. You might be a Trump supporter if you hang McNaughton paintings in your house. Oh, shut the up. You might be a Trump supporter if you noticed conservative women are much more beautiful. I've noticed that most of them look like Sam Kinison. You might be a Trump supporter if you know it's more important to speak the truth than risk offending someone. You might be a Trump supporter if you think this is a normal thing to do, that anybody else on the planet does shit like this. Nobody else does things like this. Christ, you guys are so weird. Next up, oh look, he's a little cowboy. This one's called 2020 Ride. Right out of the chute, President Trump is on the ride of his life. Something tells me you wish you were too, especially when he wears those hot little assless chaps, although all chaps are assless, to be fair. Holding on for dear life, he is not letting go until his time is up. Well, luckily for us, he is one cheeseburger in the throat away from us never having to hear from him ever again. Dude, this is really, really gay. Here's another, won't somebody please think of the white men painting? This one's called You Are Not Forgotten. Getting a little derivative. John, how many veterans have been neglected? A lot. And you voted for that. How many families are suffering because of poor healthcare, limited opportunities, and government intrusion? Oh my god, he's so close to getting it. Listen, I'm not really a prayer guy, but I definitely will pray for this guy to develop class consciousness the way some of Ben Shabibo's fans did. These are some nice little black and white sketches of the Supreme Court justices that Trump ignores when it's convenient. This one's called Defenders of the Constitution, and it's a good thing he put it in quotes. If you squint, it's giving grim grinning ghosts. Not really much else to say about this one. It's pretty mid-tier cringe. So, funny story about this next one, which is called Let's Go Brandon.
How original.
I went to the Long Beach Grand Prix last year, and there was a car in the race that looked almost exactly like this. Like, it was American flag themed, and it had Trump 2024 and Let's Go Brandon and Go 45, all the other shit decaled on it, and it didn't do too bad, actually. I think it finished like 6th out of almost 30. I'm sure the driver blamed a trans person for them not making 5th place. After a great NASCAR victory, the world heard the fans chanting a phrase that has been dubbed by CNN as Let's Go Brandon. This new clarion call for patriots everywhere reminds us who our real president is. Does it? Are any of these men actually named Brandon? Or was this just a bunch of drunk rednecks who pounded too much Coors Light to be able to form a coherent sentence that people could understand? This is so gay, it might turn me homophobic. What's next? Oh, good Christ. This is called Legacy of Hope, and it's all your favorite racists and slave owners sharing a room with Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman. Very cool. What's even more troubling is that many in the mainstream media have seemingly joined forces with those who are actively and seditiously trying to burn America to the ground. You mean like that time when you guys tried to hang Mike Pence? Contrary to what some might tell you, the United States didn't begin in 1619 with the first importation of slaves. The United States has a specific birthday. It began in 1776. It began when we not only declared our independence from a system that introduced slavery to the New World. Okay. I'm gonna stop you right there, friendo. Do you think slavery ended in 1776? Do you think they wanted to end slavery in 1776? Do you think the people on the left side of this picture didn't own slaves? Do you ever read something so stupid that you have to stop everything that you're doing and do a full mental reboot? Oh look, we've got the modern day Paul Revere. And it also has a poem, which is fair because the original guy also had a poem, so, you know. So through the night rode a modern-day Paul Revere, and despite the leftist hate, he gave us the news to every American with rational views. In the hour of darkness and peril and need, the people will waken and listen to hear the voice of Sean Hannity loudly and clear in the message of a modern-day Paul Revere. Not Sean Hannity. Oh, no, wait. Sorry. I just remembered he bought between 6 and 10 of your paintings. And David Arquette started following me on Instagram, so I think our success is pretty matched at this point. Next up, this one is called Trump Rushmore, and it's Trump, and his face is on Mount Rushmore.
How original.
And how very gay. Here's another one featuring everybody's favorite forgotten man. The most notable thing about this one is that apparently Trump likes it, and Obama is seen here stepping on the Constitution. And then all the slave owners are over here like, no, he can't do that, he's black. There is no racial meaning or undertone that the forgotten man is not black. This is not a racial painting. It is about the vanishing of the American dream. Thanks, John. Thank you for more mid-tier cringe. So this next one is interesting because it features a guy that you might not have heard of. This is Cliven Bundy, depicted in a very dumb painting called Pray for America. So Bundy became known from what's now known as the Bundy Standoff, and it was when the Bureau of Land Management, the other BLM, ordered Bundy to pay like $1 million in grazing fees because he was technically using federally owned land. And then it kind of turned into a whole you don't tell me what to do with my land kind of deal, and everybody involved was very stupid, especially when Bundy tried to recruit the Oath Keepers to help out. Obviously not surprising in the slightest. In April of 2014, I went down to Nevada to visit with the Bundy family with the idea of doing a painting. He hoped I would paint a picture that would tell the story of the people who had worked hard to settle Clark County. Then he wanted to know if I could paint something to show the plight of minorities in America. He was concerned about Black Americans who are living on the dole of the US government and need to be freed from oppression. That's an awfully nice way to frame how Bundy actually said the following. I want to tell you one more thing I know about the Bundy began as he recounted seeing a group of older people and kids sitting idle in an open doorway of the building. They didn't have nothing to do. They didn't have nothing for their kids to do. They didn't have nothing for their young girls to do. And because they were basically on government subsidy, so now what do? They abort their young children. They put their young men in jail because they never learned how to pick cotton. And I've often wondered, are they better off as slaves, picking cotton and having a family life and doing things? Or are they better off under government subsidy? They didn't get no more freedom, they got less freedom. So, maybe I'm just a bleeding heart pinko or whatever, but when I was doing research for this video and I read this quote, I genuinely felt sick to my stomach. Like, no, obviously I'm not shocked or surprised. It sucks to read, okay? I'm usually able to compartmentalize it, but sometimes it just kind of catches up to you. I read horrible racist shit all the time, but this really got to me. And even Sean Hannity told him off after he said this. And I know this is supposed to be a funny video, and we will get back to the jokes in a second, but I f***ing hate these people so goddamn much. Moving on before I Persona 3 myself. This one is called MAGA Ride, because he's riding on a motorcycle, and there's some lady sitting behind him. If you look closely in the cracks, you might see something interesting there. Let's see, what's in the cracks? MAGA. MAGA. Got it.
Daring today, aren't we?
I don't know if my scoliosis can take more of this, honestly. This next one is called Great Rhinos. Rhino stands for Republican in name only. And look, they're all sitting on a rhino, like the animal. And oh there's another poem. A crash is made of many who hide behind the votes, the sneaky little devils wearing finely pressed turncoats. Am I missing something? Was there ever a time when Mitch McConnell didn't kneel to Trump's demands? Maybe he forgot to when he froze up during those press conferences? Whatever. Mid-tier cringe. What's this next one say? My home is in heaven. I'm just traveling through this world. Billy Graham! Are we really still thinking about old Billy Graham up in here on this day? The fact that Billy Graham lived to be 99 years old really is proof that the good die young and the pricks live forever. Look, if you're still thinking about Billy Graham in the beer of our Lord 2025, your brain needs to be studied. Next up, Jesus Christ, another 80s Republican jump scare. Halloween Horror Nights has the opportunity to do the funniest thing. Imagine President Reagan looking directly at you. I would rather imagine literally anything else. What would he ask you? What would be your answer? Hey, Francis, did you know that Nancy gives the best head? Yes, Ronald, the entire world except for Abby Shapiro knows that. Terrifying as this is, it could definitely be a lot cringier. This next one is called Spirit of 2024, and it features Candace Owens and Trump and Dinesh D'Souza again, and no way. The artist. Him, Jon McNaughton, right there, behind Dinesh D'Souza.
No way! No way, no way!
This one also has a poem, and I honestly don't care. This is truly unhinged. Please, God, donate your brains to science. I can't take this anymore. God grant me the serenity to accept the vibes that are not Rootin' tootin'. This next piece is called Last Supper of a Blessed Nation, and this is just beyond parody at this point. What will be the fate of this generation? Consider your place at the table and discover the deeper meaning within. My place at the table is wherever they put in them mashed potatoes. No, wait, shit, wrong holiday. I do appreciate that John also put a list of the items on the table as well in the description. What a mensch. This next one is called Saving a Generation, and it's Trump holding a baby, because holding babies is a politician's freebird. This might also be the only context in which Trump has ever held a baby. He certainly didn't hold his own kids. President Trump has saved more American lives than any other president in history. How is this possible? Probably because that didn't happen. The monumental overturning of Roe v. Wade has made a profound impact upon future generations who will now have a chance for life in the American dream. Not the people who gave birth, though, right? Oh wait, we can't say that anymore, can we? Man, I love living in a free country because we always gotta include a little capitalism deep-throating. This piece is called Trump Shrugged. You know, like Atlas Shrugged by that one lady. At times, we all feel the weight of the world on our shoulders. Few understand this as deeply as President Donald Jessica Trump. Yep, I bet he's really feeling the burn every time he pieces out to Mar-a-Lago. I am a drag queen, and this is still too gay for me. This next one is called, get ready for it, The Emperor Has No Clothes. And here we have Elon's bratty nose-picking son pointing at a man who I still don't know how Republicans felt so threatened by a man who barely knew where he was. They really give Democrats way too much credit. I wish they did half of the things that conservatives think they do. Anyway, he's depicted here wearing a king's crown in a painting made by a guy who voted for and paints pictures of a guy who wants to abolish term limits. What is it that I think I hear? From the lips of a little kid, he pointed to the emperor and shouted, "That guy is naked." The people only whispered first, then all candidly exposed. The president is a fraud, and the emperor has no clothes. I'll let you correct what you just said. I mean, you won't. We both know this. I am once again asking you to donate your brain to science. So here's more proof that these people were, in fact, terrified of a man who, I cannot possibly stress this to you enough, barely knew where he was at all times. This piece is called Biden Malaise. Oh, brother. There are various fruits and funguses hidden in the foliage. Try to decipher the deep symbolic meaning of the Biden presidency and unravel the truth behind it all. Oh, cool. Homework. Thanks, John. I'll get on that as soon as I unwrench my spine. This one is called The Masterpiece, and it's Trump once again painted doing something that he cannot do, which is painting. Maybe he can? I don't know. He's no W. Bush, though. That's for sure. His greatest achievements are yet to be revealed. How will history remember the presidency of Donald Jessica Trump? We will remember that this is not normal human behavior, and nobody else on the planet does this willingly. John, this is really gay. Next up, oh no. This one is called Politically Incorrect. And you're in luck, good bitches, because this painting is accompanied by, you guessed it, a poem. The American dream is real, though ideologies clash. He wore a red MAGA hat and a Martin Luther King mustache. You see, all lives matter, and you cannot favor race. The Constitution is colorblind. Wokeness, a disgrace. There are people who went to the March on Washington who are still alive, right, to see this happen. I know its protesters are. They voted in 2024. I'm so tired. Seek help. Seek professional help. Almost done. This one is called Trump Stampede, and it's Trump, and he's he's on a horse, and he's riding triumphantly next to a bunch of donkeys, which are Democrats. The Democrats are donkeys. Against the stampede's fury, he leads the charge, a resolute commander in a storm-born revolution to make America great again. It's giving that one high fantasy fanfic that I read in my Trident video. Stand down, Trump! This isn't democratic! He screamed, his voice cracking from both fury and age. Trump audibly scoffed, pointing his deportation blade at Biden, who drew his spear of pronoun.
Where is he deporting him to? His
Spear
spear
of
pronoun.
I don't know. It's not quite as gay as the others. I'll put it in the mid-tier cringe. Our final Jon McNaughton propaganda masterpiece is titled The Choice, and you can already see where this one is going. This year is full of choices. Do we lock down our communities? Do we make citizens wear masks or face penalties? Do we defund our police and give in to pressure from activist leftist groups? Well, we actually did do all that while he was in office, but enough of you guys still didn't care, and then a million of you died from COVID. So, we'll donate this entry to science as well. So, there's that. By the way, he also has a YouTube channel where he explains some of these paintings himself, but I didn't use any footage because he kind of seems like the kind of guy who might try and copyright me. I don't know. That said, again, I really don't want to start shit, so please just keep your bullying to this comment section or wherever you share this video if you want to. Okay, thank you. Here are some winning comments from the last video. Bad Hombre ADK says, "Holy shit, you're the second prettiest Lady Liberty I've ever seen. To be fair, my 3-year-old daughter decided to dress up as Lady Liberty last Halloween, so you never stood a chance." That's so cute. I bet she looked amazing. Purple Grant says, and this was referring to one of the mugs at the 9/11 museum, "Do the towers disappear from the mug when you put a hot drink in it?" It's so good. I wish I thought of it myself. Lee Walsworth 29.99 says, "Miss Freeze, you have 100K, now please release Robin." You too could be featured in the next video. Leave a comment below. I will pick my favorite ones and give you a shout out next time, but if you would like to guarantee your name be featured at the end of every video, please consider joining my Patreon. If you join any of the membership tiers that are conveniently named after Fallout protagonists, your name will be featured at the end of every video. You might also get other cool stuff like access to my Discord, behind the scenes content on how I make my wigs, ad-free and uncensored versions of my videos. So if you love my content and my drag, you can support this channel directly by clicking the link to my Patreon in the description box. If you would like to see me simp for my favorite game characters and get visibly frustrated in real time, please follow me on Twitch. And if you would like to see even more of my clown mug elsewhere, please consider following me on Instagram or Threads or Blue Sky. My handle for all of the above is at queencokefrancis. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't done so already, please paint an absolute masterpiece artwork. And when people ask you what your secret is, reveal your paintbrush of choice by going ahead and unzipping your pants and dick slapping those like and subscribe buttons as hard as you can. Thank you again to PIA for sponsoring this video, and thank you again to all of my fans and patrons and subscribers who have helped my channel grow and thrive the way that it has been. Thank you again so much for helping me hit 100,000. And of course, as always, until next time,